Welcome to Manga Machinations! It's episode number 457, and this week we're doing a Darfox Dabbles. I'm Dakzu, and with me is said Darfox.
It is I, and I shall dabble today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. We're essentially a book club for manga. This week, Seamus is out. He went to... I think he said he was going to go see a movie or something at a theater.
I think so.
That's why he's not around this evening. Probably won't be around for wrestling later either. But yeah, when it's just me and Darfox, we like to do a Darfox Dabbles. And we're going back to the well of titles on Manga Plus. So we'll be looking at like 10 series over on Manga Plus. So one of them is technically not Manga Plus exclusive. But yeah, we'll talk about that in our main segment. How are you doing today, Darfox?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm okay. I finally got over my stomach bug that I had all of last week. It was bad. I was not able to put up the podcast until a day later because I was in so much like horrible stomach pains, and
You put
it was
the
not good.
podcast up on the regularly advertised day that it gets put
Yes,
up.
on the actual Monday when it says we were supposed to post. I've been posting it earlier on Sundays for like years now, but yeah, I still made the deadline. So, but yeah, that stomach bug lasted a long ass time. So I am finally better. My wife is going through the final stages of said stomach bug as well, and hopefully she will be done soon.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all over that because and you're pretty miserable for a minute there.
One night, like, I went to the bathroom, came out of the bathroom, and by the time I got back to my computer, I was like, I need to go to the bathroom again. And I repeated this like 4 times in a row. It was not great. I didn't know like that could happen, but now I know that can happen. But anyway, sickness talk aside, we are recording live on YouTube. So hello, YouTube. And it looks
Hello,
like
everybody.
we have Chris from Canada and Tyler from Germany in chat as usual. Darfox now on the stream with his nice Kaiji shirt. Limited
Yes.
rock, paper, scissors. Zawa Zawa.
You want to see my fancy shirt? You better check out the stream, podcast listeners. Or not.
Yeah. I think we might change the recording time a little earlier so other people can join. I know Vicky Dalton really wants to watch live, but we'll see if we can make that happen.
What is just Dagsu and I? We're pretty flexible.
Yeah, so we should have done this week, but yeah, whatever. Darfox had a lot of manga to read, so
yes,
I need to give him time.
Yeah, time is always hard to coordinate sometimes, but yeah, we love to have more accessible time for our European listeners, and not just Tyler, who's awake at weird places of weird times of the night.
Yep. But also, since we're starting out, I want to remember to shout out our coffee page. You can support this podcast by buying us a coffee. Go to ko-fi.com/mangamac. And yeah, Darfox has put up the little splash page for our coffee and our people who have supported us. Deluid, Mia, Wyatt, Philip, Vicky Dalton, Dr. Meltface, Poor Mexican 72. Thank you for contributing and buying us coffees and supporting this podcast. We don't run a Patreon or anything, so if you want to financially support us, help us buy manga, buy us a coffee. Again, that's ko-fi.com/mangamac.
Large and small donations are appreciated.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dar, let's move along. I have an email here from Tyler.
Oh, Tyler, eh?
Yes, I have a Tyler email. It's a quiz.
Oh no! So I'm the one being quizzed.
No, hold on. So this email is from Tyler, and the email is titled, "Who is North America Licensor Quiz?" I'm back with a short quiz after the disappointment of the last one. I've been thinking of a way of how to get Doxu be part of quiz without knowing the answer. And so there's an answer link, and there's 4
okay.
questions here.
Kind of clever.
There's only one answer link, so I don't think I can. I don't think I'm supposed to look at this until like we answer all the questions.
Okay.
But also, Dar, I know all these questions.
Okay. So it's just quizzing me.
Pretty much. Like there's 4 titles here, and you're supposed to guess who is the licensor. But I just have the knowledge.
All right.
I just happen to know these, so it's like it's okay for me. I'm gonna start
me.
out. Okay, so the first title is "Smoking Behind the Supermarket."
That's what it's called.
That's what it's called.
I don't even know this manga.
I don't actually. I'm pretty sure that's not the actual English title. Let me just double check.
Let me just double check and see all the details of this manga online. Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Before I check this, it's a multiple choice question. So
okay.
The 3 choices are Square Enix Books USA, Yen Press, or Comic Key.
Yen Press is my guess.
Okay. You are wrong.
The Comic Key?
No. It is Square Enix Books in USA. I know this. The actual English title is Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You.
Oh, with you. Oh. All right,
okay.
What's the next one?
The next one we have here is Gekkan Shoujo Sunday. Is it by Denpa, Starfruit Books, or 7 Seas?
Wait, what's it called?
Gekkan Shoujo Sunday.
Is that the really weird, goofy book that you were talking about in the past?
Yes, we've talked about this. Morgana and I have talked about this.
That one sounded interesting. You said 7 Seas, Denpa, and who else?
Starfruit.
I want to say.
Also, the actual title is Monthly Shoujo Sunday.
I want to say Starfruit. I feel like that's a Matt House thing.
You are correct. It is Starfruit Books.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah. Okay, the third one is Snow White and the Red Hair. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, man. Like, listen, Tyler, I appreciate the quiz, but if you're gonna, like, put the titles, you gotta put the actual English titles.
It's like me when I give everything nicknames and y'all just have to guess what I'm talking about.
Okay, is it Viz Media, 7 Seas, or Kodansha USA?
What's the title he wrote again?
Snow White with the Red Hair. Okay, good. This is the actual title.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Ye of little faith.
Okay, well, the first 2 were not exactly correct, so that's why I had to double check.
Viz and who else? I got bad brain,
okay,
sorry.
We got Viz, we got 7 Seas, and we got Kodansha.
That's a 7 Seas joint, if I ever heard it.
You are wrong. It is Viz.
What? Viz.
Mm-hmm.
No. Okay.
Okay, 1 out of 3 so far, Dar, for you.
So I can tie it. This is the 4th one. You said it right?
Tie it? I've had all 3 of these correct.
No, but I mean, from my win-loss ratio. I mean,
okay.
My wrong-right ratio.
That's what you meant by tie it. Okay.
50%. Yeah.
Sure. The last one is Oran High School Host Club. Is it Viz Media, 7 Seas, or is it not licensed anymore?
We've read this one, so I'm panicking because I'm trying to remember in what
It was a Shoujo Shodan.
Wasn't that a Pokepop book at some point? Maybe.
I think it was.
Ooh, but I don't feel like the license would have dropped for that one. I feel like if that dropped, someone would have picked it up. So I'm gonna say Viz Media.
You're correct.
Okay. A little bit of past knowledge mixed with a little bit of probable deduction, you could guess some of these answers.
I'm looking at
I honestly
this.
didn't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at this image that the answer sheet Tyler set up. Okay.
So, apparently, Tyler went to the websites, I guess the German language websites, and then he just translated those to English. So Google Translate that made the title weird.
Okay, but like, it's not like that's. If it's available in English, you should like look up the actual English title.
One neat hack for this works sometimes, not all the times. If you go to Wikipedia and you look up the title of something in your native Wikipedia language, you could switch the language of the website, and it takes you to like the the same website, the same article you want. It takes you to the Spanish version of it or the German version of it, and
Oh,
there
and then
you
it
can
has
see.
the actual title.
There
Yeah.
it has the other stuff. Yeah, I use that sometimes when I'm trying to figure out what the name of a movie is in Spanish or what it was localized to, stuff like that.
Yeah. I appreciate Tyler trying to make a quiz that I can participate in. So thank you, Tyler. Got to make it harder though. I knew all those. It's not challenging enough for me.
I did not know all of those, but I got a 50% ratio of right and wrong, so I'd say it's pretty good for government work.
For government work.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The sad thing is you're true. Oh my God.
You never heard that phrase?
I have.
Yeah, it's the thing people say.
It's sad and true. Well, yeah, that was our email. Thank you again to Tyler. If you want to send us quizzes or emails or anything, you can send emails over to mangamachinations@gmail.com. Or, join our Discord server. We're still doing Mahjong Machination Mondays. I'm the king of Mahjong right now.
Oh my
Still.
God! Last Monday was a nightmare.
It was just you, me, and my wife.
Yeah.
Because it was Lightning Bolt's birthday, and Chris wasn't there, and Christine wasn't there, and so it was just a three-way between my wife, Darfox, and me, and I was on a tear again.
Yeah, and it was especially ridiculous because I would be getting kind of really good hands. Like at the start of each round, you draw a hand,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get I had a round where I had like 2 dragons and one of them was a duplicate, and I had like one of my wins, just like really good foundations to have a hand early on. It just never worked out.
Yeah, you were all like, I'm cooking, and then I'd be like, thank you for throwing my winning tile.
It was always something random.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride for Dar.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Chris says he was nauseated from the night before. Sorry to hear that, Chris, but I hope you can join us for this upcoming Monday, where we have another Mahjong Machinations.
Speaking of Chris, should we very briefly give him half marks for the Manga Mac bump?
Yeah, let's talk about the Manga Mac bump. Last week, we said, because Seamus came in the middle of the podcast and he had just had barbecue, he said, oh yeah, have American barbecue. It's real good. Chris was not able to get American barbecue. He got Chinese barbecue pork. That was the best he could do.
Understandably, way more affordable.
Yes.
Looks pretty
But
good.
You gotta experience some good brisket, man. Pulled pork. It's so good. Oh, my mouth is watering just thinking about it.
Speaking of pulled pork, I literally have a pork in my. Well, I roasted a pork today.
Oh,
basically.
yeah, you were telling me yesterday that you got a whole pork butt and you were gonna prep it.
Yeah. So, I watched a YouTuber called Brian Lagerstrom. He's a cooking YouTuber, and most of his videos are pretty straightforward, which I appreciate, and not like these other YouTubers that just are kind of weird. So I'll just leave it at that. And he had one for Cuban sandwiches. and I might make a sandwich out of the pork. But the part of the video that I was interested in was him roasting a pork, and it's a pretty simple marinade, and you just toss it in your oven for like 6 hours, at least 6 hours. And that's what I did, and I will be having some of that later.
Delicious. Send it through the mail to me.
Yeah, in an envelope, a soppy envelope.
So, Dar, what is going to be this week's Manga Back Bump? You want to
Hmm.
make it about YouTubers, since you just mentioned you're the cooking YouTuber?
Yes. Watch every single video Markiplier ever put up. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, God.
That would be like 1 billion hours. A YouTuber Manga Mac Bump, I wonder.
Do you have like a random YouTuber that you like that like people probably don't know about?
Not that people probably don't know about, but I have been watching a lot of Beard Meets Food. Which
Oh,
is
that's
like,
the competitive eating guy, right?
yes, yeah. So go watch a couple Beard Meets Food. Hopefully you don't get grossed out because he's kind of like there's a couple things that he does in his videos that are kind of gross. And he knows it. He talks about like, oh, this is the part where you need to look away. Um, one is that he has a big beard, so a lot of times his food is trapped in his beard. So a big part of his video is him cleaning off his beard. The other one, like when he drinks water, there's a lot of backwash in his
Oh, yeah,
water.
that's so gross.
So like his water gets cloudy really quick, and by the end of like the water, it's just like you can see the food particulate floating in it and stuff. It's pretty
Oh!
gross. Even for me, it's pretty gross. Normally, I have high like tolerance for that kind of stuff, but like, and he knows it. Like he talks about how people in the comments yell at him and stuff about it. But he's pretty charming overall, and the the food challenges are really impressive. One of the things he does is that he after he eats like a big challenge from a restaurant, he orders dessert. It's like a haha where like not only did he eat this big ass plate of steaks or whatever, but he still has enough room to eat like a slice of cheesecake or something. Um, so he passes, and I have seen him fail very very little challenges. So a little bit of food tube, a little bit of eating tube. That'll be the Manga Mac Bump.
All right, very nice. Manga Mac Bump. What's his channel again?
Beard meets food.
Beard Meets Food. Check it out. Okay, Dar, let's move along to a little bit of what you've been reading.
What have I been reading?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you've just been doing like the assignment for this week because you had a lot.
Yeah, I had a fair bit.
So nothing besides that, no anime.
Well, this is semi-related to our community stuff. This past Thursday, we watched like the first 3 episodes of Slam Dunk on the server. Lightning Bolt was there, Cliff was there, and Chris joined for a little while too, and Christine joined there towards the end. I think Thursday was our Street Fighter night, but we haven't.
I think we're gonna can Street Fighter Night. We just don't have enough people
Well,
for that.
I don't think we should can it, but I think we should kind of keep trying it every once in a while. I think Thursday could be our kind of rotating thing. It could also be our AMQ night, where we play anime music quiz with some of the people in the Discord server. So that's the only thing I did extra, which is to watch Slam Dunk, which I've seen before. But Lightning Bolt hasn't seen before. Cliff hasn't seen before, and Cliff was just super excited. We knew Cliff was young. Yo, it's Cliff. We knew Cliff was young, but it's so funny having him in there. Like you can feel his youthful exuberance just talking about like he just went off on Dragon Ball Z with Chris, and he was just like talking about Dragon Ball Super and all this stuff. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun having Chris in the chat and
Yeah.
seeing his reaction to like a classic anime like Slam Dunk, which Slam Dunk is like the classic. It's one of the classics of like sports manga, right? It's so hard to top the love that manga has. So it's really cool to see. And I think LB enjoyed it as well. I actually haven't asked him about it much, but we're probably gonna try and keep watching more episodes. But I guess this next Thursday is up in the air. We might try anime music quiz on Thursday. We'll see.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Mondays for Mahjong and then Thursdays might do like a variety type of hangout. and that's cool. Yeah, it was really fun to talk with Cliff. It was really funny when he thought I was like 26 or something.
God, you're so old. You're like 26, right, Doctor Zoo? He didn't say that, by the way, but I felt that that's what he was thinking. He thought that like 26 was like an old age.
I had to crush his dreams and be like, I'm 42. I'm an old man.
You're probably closer to 50 than you are his age.
Yep.
I'm probably closer to 50 than I am his age, really. And I'm just 35.
Cliff in chat says he is 25. But yeah, this is Slam Dunk viewing night was super fun. If you want to check that out, that's over on Toei's YouTube channel. Yeah, Toei Animation.
Yep. Not all the episodes are up, but they're uploading, I think, at a steady clip.
I'll put a link in our show notes to the playlist they have. Right now, currently they have 10 episodes up. I don't know if they're gonna rotate those. I hope they just keep them up.
If it's anything like the Gundam Info YouTube channel, which is like the official Gundam channel, they upload the stuff and they keep it on. They upload it until they have the whole series uploaded. Like, let's say if they're doing Gundam Wing or Gundam Seed or something, they have it up there. Once they finish uploading, they keep it up there for like another month or so. Then they take it down.
Okay.
So I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to just slowly upload everything, and then once they're done, they'll keep it on there for a little while longer. But they might take it down eventually.
But even if they're doing like 10 episodes a week, that show's going to be up there for a long time then, because there's a lot of episodes of Slam Dunk.
Yeah.
Long-running series.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so just Slam Dunk then for you?
Yeah, well, there's also, one second. I'm cooking here.
Okay. Darfox cooking live on camera.
Okay, viewers of the stream, you will be seeing Chris's Chinese food as posted on his Twitter.
Wait, why didn't you put this up earlier when we were doing the mukbang bump? So.
Because I just was spitting too many plates. I just couldn't. My brain couldn't handle it. And then viewers of the stream will also see my pork. So this is what the pork looked like after I got my mitts on it and I shredded it. It's pretty juicy. What you don't, I don't know if you could tell by looking at the image, but there's kind of like a line where like the pork juices were, but now it's all like sucked into like the meat.
Oh yeah, so, I like the zoom in. Thank you.
Yeah, zoom in, enhance.
People listening to the podcast need to go to our YouTube channel and look at this video.
Yeah, it's just if you don't know what we're looking at, we're just looking at one of those like aluminum trays that you like single-use trays you put in the oven, full of pork. Put your pork in there.
You should post that picture into our Discord as well, so people can look at it there.
You know what? I might.
Okay.
All right.
Is that it for
That's it.
Visual show and tell? Okay.
Yes.
Since you talked about the Slam Dunk anime, I'll talk about an anime I've been watching with my wife. Sending a link over to Darfox. I've been watching Dark Gathering over on High Dive. This is based off of a manga of the same name, Dark Gathering, done by Kondo Kenichi. The thing about this manga is I thought it was done by the person who was doing Medica Box because the art style is very similar. It turns out I was wrong. This is someone totally different. But this is a horror manga that runs over in Square Jump. I occasionally read Square Jump magazine sometimes, but I usually skip this manga. I've seen it in passing. It's I think the manga is very effective with the horror because you can do a lot with like horror art, and so it looks good. I remember like seeing a lot of things about like the general setup for this story is you have the main character named Keitaro. He just started college, and he's reconnecting with one of his childhood friends, and he's basically haunted. He had a very bad experience with a ghost, and one of his friends got hurt, so he's become a Shoten. But he's finally going to college. He meets another childhood friend, and then he ends up taking this tutoring job, and he meets this young girl who has like double pupils. It makes her eyes look like skulls in her eyes. Super cute looking girl. And the girl lost her family in an accident, but is convinced that like a spirit took away her mom. It's actually in like the first episode in a flashback. And so the girl wants to use the main character, Keitaro, who's like, he attracts like bad ghosts and like dark spirits, and kind of use them kind of as bait and hang around because she's a collector. She wants to collect all these bad ghosts to eventually find the one that screwed with her mom. And I've been watching this show with my wife. My wife likes horror stuff. I don't like horror stuff, but you know, I can handle horror manga. So, Dar, are you cracking up because you know my experience with horror things?
Yes, famous horror hater.
Yes, or like very, you know, low tolerance for horror because I'm like a scaredy cat.
To be fair though, like you do okay with creepiness, but when it's like a jump scary thing, I feel like that's when like
Yeah.
you can't deal with it.
Yes, I don't like those.
You fall like you're easy mark for jump scares. Like
Yes,
anything like
absolutely.
dang, 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 it just messes with you.
Yes. But for this anime, it's all right. I've been enjoying it. You know, it's hard to do horror and anime. Sometimes the drawings just aren't as scary or creepy looking. They do a lot of good things in this anime with the sound. So, you know, a lot of distorted voices, creepy sounds coming through like different channels, horrible sound pings, and like jump scare type things as well. So that's all very effective. And my wife was watching it and she was enjoying it a lot. But in the second episode, the main character has to go visit his grandmother to get his like right hand exercised a little bit. Ever since his bad incident, his right hand grows out like extra nerves out of his hand, and so his hand looks like it's covered with like a bunch of long white hairs. And when my wife saw it, it triggered her trypophobia real bad. She got wigged out so bad. So we had to pause, and she was like, "Give me a minute." I'm like, "Oh, good." Like, I'm glad this show is like putting a scare because it's supposed to. I don't think it was intentionally wanted to do that, but yeah, we've been enjoying this show so far. I said I don't read the manga, and it's because some of the chapters I saw, like, they get into the backstory of why these dark spirits are like so evil and haunting, and it usually involves like horrible child abuse or like sexual abuse things.
Yeah,
I think it's also implied. I think it's implied that the little girl with the skull eyes, her mom is like evil spirit took the mom's soul and is raping it, and I was like, it's not great. Like you see in the first episode, the mom's soul is being carried away, and something tentacly is happening in her stomach. So I wasn't a big fan of that when I was like glancing at that in the manga, but I'm gonna keep up with the series for now. My wife's into it, so she's putting up with watching Hulk, so it's the best I can do in exchange. All right, moving on from this anime, I want to talk about a new manga I read. So I ran to this manga called Truck Driver no Kaidan, First Gear. Translates to Truck Driver Ghost Stories. First Gear.
I was wondering why they showed up on our Twitter feed. It's because you followed them. I was like,
Yes.
why do I see like? And some of it was kind of like weird.
Yeah, so let me explain. This manga is done by Zo Mushipuro. He is a former truck driver. And so this entire volume is a collection of a bunch of manga he wrote for Twitter that kind of like got a good buzz and got a good following. And they're all about like I would say about maybe a third of them are actual creepy horror stories about like truck drivers running into weird phenomenon. And then the other third are just like scary stories that happened because, you know, people were doing truck driving stuff. Like the first story is one of the truck drivers is checking like his tires, and then he opens up his engine and checking everything. And then when he looks closely, there's been a cat inside. There's a cat on top of the engine, Darfox, because it's, you know, wintertime. The engine of the truck is warm.
Yes.
So the horror is like if he had started driving, he would have, you know, that poor cat would have, bad things would have happened. Or another horror story about like just kind of a scary incident. A truck driver was at a red light and it turned green and he was about to like, you know, start going forward when like the truck across the street from him was just blaring on the horn, and the driver was screaming and he couldn't figure out why. And when he realized it's because there was an old granny crossing the street in front of like his truck using the grill of the front of the truck as like a handguard to trying to like balance herself. It's in the blind spot of the truck, you know, because the truck sits so high.
Right.
So if he like went forward on that green light, he would have ran over a granny.
Wow.
Crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
But for the actual like ghost stories that are like in here, there's a couple cases where a truck driver was driving in the middle of nowhere and saw like a woman in the rain, and he went to go talk to them, and they were like, "I'm okay," and then like they disappeared immediately. Or in the middle of the night, they stopped at like a rest stop, and there was like a weird teen there, just kind of staring at them. And then they went into the bathroom, and while they were washing hands, this weird teen was looking at them, just washing their hands over and over. And he was about to say something when, out of nowhere, behind him, a man said, "Don't talk to that. It'll take you." And then so when he left the bathroom, he saw that there's actually no other cars parked in that parking lot that he was in. Creepy stories like that. These are all stories that this manga artist Zomushi heard while he was like working as a truck driver. Some of them are like general like scary things that can happen with trucks. Like, did you know, Dar, that with some trucks, after you park them and you pull the side brake, have you seen trucks that have like an extra little braking thing that you put over a wheel so it doesn't like slide? I don't know if you've seen these before.
maybe.
It's like
Yeah,
it's like a
I'm not
plastic
sure.
thing that you put on either side of the tire to like help as a backup. Because, you know, if you forget to put the side brake on and you're on kind of like an incline, your truck is so heavy it's gonna like slide down the road. Be a problem. Apparently, when a guy was young, like his partner who was driving forgot to remove it, and he was like standing like a little further away at a vending machine getting drinks for both of them, and the guy started the car and forgot to remove it, and the thing went flying out from outside the tire and almost took his head off. Like it like impaled the vending machine next to him. Like weird horror stories like that. And like Zomushi, like their drawing skills are pretty simple, but I appreciate that they also like do a lot of it in color. And so they use like extra detail to make it a little bit more scary, you know, like the ghost stories are in gray. I like how you're just like going through their Twitter looking for like some examples.
This guy, I guess, broke his arm.
Oh, that's a horror story about don't ever stick your arm outside of the truck because you might hit something and like snap your arm back in half.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I saw their Twitter account came to me recommended, and I was looking through some of their work, and I was like, it looked interesting enough where I picked up this first volume that they put out, and I really enjoyed it. And it seems like it's more like a independent, like almost a self-published thing. Just released this April, so I hope they continue to have success and put out more stuff. It's fun to read. I like discovering like manga artists and like new manga through Twitter now. Even though Twitter is becoming harder and harder to use, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll see where that whole community grows.
Mm-hmm. But it's nice to find more like independent, unknown manga artists who are doing different things that aren't. These titles aren't on the commercial sites, right? Okay, and that's gonna wrap up my what you've been reading. It's pretty short, but we're gonna keep it short because Dark Fox has a lot to cover in our main segment. But before we get to that, let's talk about what we're gonna do next week. You know, Dar, it's hot. It's summertime.
Yeah.
Since it's so hot, it's time to do a flaming hot retrospective. We're gonna read Fire Punch, Tatsuki Fujimoto's debut series that ran over on Jump, Shonen Jump Plus. The thing that he did before Chainsaw Man. It's a manga that I have read. It's a manga that last year Seamus read and he loved it. Dark Fox has read this, but he has not read the whole thing, despite being such a Chainsaw Man mark. Such a Tatsuki Fujimoto fan. See, he's sneezing in shame.
Yes. You were talking about me, so I started sneezing. just like my Japanese animes.
You can see it on the YouTube feed.
Yeah,
Dar, are you excited to finally sit down and read Fire Punch? Though I think you've heard about most of the plot points between me and Seamus.
I have a general idea where the story goes, and I kind of have an idea of the themes that the stories have. But yeah, I'm excited to see a more nihilistic version of the Chainsaw Man story. I think that'll be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna read the first 3 volumes. This series is available through I don't know if it's on the Shonen Jump app. It might not be because it is very mature. You might have to read it on the Viz website. So we'll be looking at 3 volumes. If you're looking at the Viz website by the chapters, we're reading chapters 1 through 28. So up to that for Tatsuki Fujimoto's Fire Punch next week. Stay tuned for that. Okay, everybody, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Dark Fox Dabbles on Manga Plus. We'll be right back, everybody.
Yeah, soon.
Okay, we are back, everybody. It's time to do our main segment, Dark Fox Dabbles. Dabble in some manga from Manga Plus. So I asked Darfox to look at a bunch of series on Manga Plus. These are not necessarily on the Shonen Jump app. They're only here available on Manga Plus. You want to access it through the website. That's probably the easiest way to look at Manga Plus. They do have their own app, but you can't get a subscription to it, at least in the US. I think it's more for like parts outside of America. Because US gets they get the Viz and they get the Shonen Jump app.
Yeah, I get the impression that it's basically any part that Viz doesn't have much of a market in it. They get the Manga Plus treatment.
Yeah, because a lot of these series are available in different languages, like Spanish, Indian. But it's been a while since I asked Darfox to just look at the series here, so there's been a lot of new ones that have been built up. And we're going to take a look at a lot of the newer ones. A couple ones that are older have been going for a long time. And we actually have one series that runs in Square Jump. But yeah, Dar, I'm going to let you pick the order of which ones we want to talk about in whatever, however you want.
Me pick the order?
Pick away.
Let me reach for my mango flavored Haritos.
Haritos?
They're like a Mexican soda, I think. Haritos.
I've seen that, yeah.
I get it occasionally. The mango flavor I just don't like that much. Pineapple's better. The mango does. I don't know if does it mix well with the carbonated water, but it's okay if you want something that's different from the regular like Coke and Sprite and all that stuff. A little bit of sugar. Harito, show me what to pick. Harito, tell me now. Wait.
Oh, delicious slurping sounds.
Okay, Harito, it is sending me a signal. And that signal is a Red Cat Ramen.
Very nice. I like how you forgot to do your push to talk because I totally saw you on stream.
The streamers heard me.
We're starting out with Red Cat Ramen, which just got released in English. Just in time for Darfox Devils.
Piping hot right here.
Shueisha knew we were doing this, and they were like, Dakazu has been asking this for this series in English forever. It finally happened. Like a couple weeks back, the manga artist Angeman, who does this series, was saying, "Oh yeah, the Korean version came out. I'm excited." I'm like, "Where's the English? How can I get my other hosts to read Red Cat Ramen, a manga about a ramen store run by cats and a tiger?"
Meow open. Happen? Come on in.
This series is done by Angeman, like I said. Angeman previously has a series over here on Manga Plus called East Into the Night, which was in all color. Darfox, you liked that series, but then we had to... It was unfortunately canceled because poor sales. But let me tell you, their new series, Red Cat Ramen, is very popular. It's doing super well. It started in 2022. It was originally labeled as an indie series. Darfox, sometimes series start on serialization on Jump Plus as an indie series, which means it's not like officially serialized, but they can graduate up to a full serialization, and that happened with the series. It was on like weird, probational status. Yeah,
I guess
isn't that weird?
I guess good for him.
Yeah. And like I said, it's doing really well. I really love this manga. I talked about it when I was getting into it last year. And yeah, now you got to read at least the first chapter of Red Cat Ramen. What did you think?
So before I jump into Red Cat Ramen, let me just say I didn't break the rules, or I treated all the manga the same in the sense that I read the first chapter of every one of these manga. Some of the manga on here were very very hard to stop on one chapter. Some of these manga did an exceptional job of having like a hook at the very end, or like a tease at the very end of the first chapter.
Yes.
Um, this wasn't one of those manga.
No.
In the sense that like it's just kind of cute slice of lifey. Um, but I will say of this group, there were only a couple manga that I thought were bad, and this is not one of those manga.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no. I did think Red Cat Ramen was really cute, and it's a little weird. Like, I'm a big cat person, right? I'm famously like so cat that I'm kind of anti dog. I'm kind of a dog hater. Um, so like I have a lot of feelings about cats, but I also don't really like cats that talk, or I don't want my cat to talk. It's like, oh, if only I could talk to my cat. I don't want to talk to my cat. I already communicate with my cat like a human would with like a cat. There's already a relationship there, and it wouldn't be made better by the cat speaking English. Might be made worse. And part of it is that like it's a little weird for like on screen. I have the splash page for the series in the first chapter where they have like the 2-page spread, and they say new series Red Cat Ramen, and there's a white cat on the page with like a flower
Hana.
on the ear.
Hana.
Um, she loves getting like brushed. And I just think it's kind of weird to be brushing a cat and the cat be like, "Oh yeah, keep brushing me right there." It totally changes the dynamic, even if the cat is like physically communicating those same like sentiments, like, "Oh yeah, keep brushing me." Just having them verbalize it is really weird to me. And this manga really falls in that like weird, like both like humanizing cats, but not, but they're still very much cats and they still act like cats. Um, it's like mixed. I don't think anybody ever thinks as much about this that I do. I think I'm being weird about this manga. Um, most of this manga is just like a pretty cute concept. It's really nice art. The drawings of the cats are very. I'm gonna blur it as I scroll through and try and find a picture of the main cat. That's good. But
Oh, Bunzo, the main ramen cat
yes.
with a nice bandana.
Oh wait. Does Manga Plus do a thing where they censor you after reading a chapter? Because I can't scroll into like keeps jumping to the end. Let me see if I go back to the beginning.
I don't know why. You should be able to read it
Okay,
freely.
there you go. After I got past the fourth page, it would jump back to the last page, and it would be like go to the next page. But I backed out and backed back in, so I'm just kind of scrolling through and trying to find a really good picture of Bunzo, who's like this like a tiger stripe cat. Um, yeah, this has really good art.
Yeah. I'm so glad Anga Man has a successful series after what happened with East into the Night. And yeah, I even at the beginning, it's kind of like the art as like the series goes on gets like even better and better and more expressive with the cats, and they get more personality.
So this is like the big point of drama that happened. There wasn't any really drama in this chapter, but they have a sign on the establishment saying, even though we're very careful, we're all cats making this ramen food for you. So there may be hair that falls into your bowl. Um, and this guy still complains about it. He starts making a scene about it, and here's Bunzo like holding his ground at this like this kind of Karen kind of guy who's just like flipping his lid on the workers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's scroll on a little bit. The intense Bunzo face.
Oh yeah, look at that. You don't mess with Bunzo. Because if you mess with Bunzo, you know who comes out from the back? Krishna, the tiger. She's in the back making the noodles. She's a noodle making tiger.
It's just it's just a tiger.
Yes.
It's just like a whole ass tiger comes out.
She's a whole ass tiger. She's very sweet and very shy.
Yeah. I guess we didn't talk so much about actually was ostensibly the main character, which is the girl.
Oh, the human Tamako. Yeah.
Yeah. Tamako comes to look for work, and she's working in this ramen shop. So far, all she's doing is brushing them in the first chapter. I assume she's gonna help with cleanup and stuff like that. But she's not gonna be really serving food because the customers want to be served by the cats, right? That's the whole point. To watch all these cute kitties run around with like a hot bowl of ramen, and like, here you go. But yeah, she just did a bunch of brushing of the cats, which is also weird. It's like, imagine if you just like hired somebody to like
listen. The
brush
cats
your hair.
can't brush themselves. It's hard for them to brush each other.
They still groom though. They groom.
But like, it's really like, imagine them trying to groom that tiger. That tiger needs to be brushed too. They all need daily brushing so they don't have excess hair falling, into the food and stuff. That's why she's there. That's why the human is there.
Okay. Just a little weird. Just the whole concept is a little weird to me.
You gotta read more, Dar. You gotta read more, and then it gets into it.
Yeah, I'll put this on my I want to read more list. It's not on my like I need to read more right now list, but it's definitely I want to read more.
That's good. I'm glad to hear this did not fall into your like this manga was bad category.
No, there's only a couple of those. And I'm pretty. When I say bad, I don't mean like terrible, shitty, but I mean they didn't really like. I felt like they were kind of like they struggled to kind of find their hook kind of manga. I wonder if you could predict the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I know. But anything else to say about Red Cat Ramen before we move along?
Very cute. I like the art. A lot of these series have a digital look to them. I think almost all of these series are. I mean, it's probably the grand majority of manga now. It's being drawn digital, just because like it's way more convenient, and you save so much money on supplies and stuff. So it's I don't want to call it a negative because I think the art's quite good, but it does have a digital look, whatever that means. I can't quite articulate it very well. But it very distinct. Doesn't look like it was drawn on paper.
Yeah,
which is okay. Like I'm trying to be as honest as I can be. I don't think it's inherently inferior for being digital, but it does stand out to me, and I do have like romantic nostalgia for like paper stuff.
I mean, we just came off of Ryuko, so
right.
Yeah, that was like the best fucking traditionally inked manga, like visually too. So
a lot of these manga are gonna have that digital look, and I don't want to make it like a Scarlet Letter or something like. Oh, is this
Dark Fox
digital?
hates digital. He looks down on those digital manga creators. You heard it here first, people.
But I think that will be a recurring theme as we talk about it.
Okay, what shall we talk about next?
Well, I have one queued up right here. Well, probably the most popular one from the group, I think, is let's see. Oh, bummer. I hate when they split up the 2-page spread as two different. Hold on, let me see if I could fix this. Isn't there options to make it like? Isn't there options to make it scroll differently? Oh, here we go. Okay.
Are you on visual? Are you on vertical scroll?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There's also an option to not do that. when you do it like if it's vertical, I can see them splitting it up.
There we go. Well, like usually they don't. They keep it together even in vertical. Okay. Shoten, the manga about fledgling comedy duo, like a sports manga, but for comedy.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this for Ramen, but translation for that series is done by Frank Jada E. Spinelli, lettering by Pedro Chunha, editing M. Leons, and Media Bang. So yeah, a lot of these series on Manga Plus have their own localization teams, so let me just like make sure to mention those as well. Yes, Shoha Shoten, new manga by Takashi Obata. Obata? Wait a minute, let me look at this. It's Obata.
You can tell
He
by
is the
looking at
manga
Japanese
artist
characters.
Yeah. He's the manga artist behind Death Note. The writer for this Shoha Shoten is Akinari Asakura. They are not the Death Note person. This is someone different. So it's not the Death Note person. It's not the Bakuman person. Yeah. So
how could they split up the duo? Interloper.
I mean, I'm glad Obata got away from the Death Note guy after fucking Platinum End and like his fucking misogyny. So yeah, it's that Death Note writer is like he is not great in my opinion these days. So
I'm not the biggest fan either, but yeah.
But so this series is being translated by Stephen Paul and lettering by James Galbatz. Shoha Shoten started in 2021. This manga does not run on Jump Plus. It actually runs in Jump Square, an actual magazine. And yeah, it is about comedy, Japanese manzai. And we have two characters. We have Azemichi, who is the kid in the glasses. He writes a lot of jokes. He writes into like radio shows and like submits his jokes. But he's very afraid of being on stage. He has stage fright. And he meets Taiyo, the blonde kid on the right. Taiyo wants to be a comedian. He is a former genius child actor. And so in this first chapter, they end up teaming up and doing a performance for the school festival. Even though they do it on the spot. And allows Azemichi to actually like perform on stage and feel the rush of performance and the wave of laughter is what it's called. And then they decide that they will work together to meet Taiyo's dream. They want to win There's two competitions that Taiyo wants to win. It was the dream of his former partner, comedy partner, who passed away. That's the general setup for this manga. Tyler in chat said you better like this because he's a super fan of this manga.
Well, sorry to break Tyler's heart. This manga sucks. No, okay. This is a good one. Do we say local actor credit for this one?
Yes.
You didn't say it for the past one. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I totally missed it. Okay.
Did you just? No, I went over both.
Okay. I was clearly paying a lot of attention.
Clearly.
Yeah. Another thing about the glasses character is that he has like a backstory where this girl who's a friend of his moved away, and she was really sad about moving away. And she even told like she liked him, and part of the interaction was that like she wanted some levity, and she wanted like him to make her laugh, but he couldn't at the time. He kind of choked. So
Yep.
it's kind of stuck with him as like if only I could actually like make her laugh, make her feel better about her situation. This manga does a pretty good job at expressing kind of like the idea of being a jokester, the idea of like lightening the mood, and making somebody laugh, and how that can make you feel like really good, especially if it's somebody who doesn't seem like they laugh a lot. They seem very serious, but you actually make him crack. You make him laugh. You make him corpse.
Yeah.
This manga does a good job of like invoking that kind of almost like romanticizing the idea of being a jokester, a comedian. It also does a good job at like kind of vividly explaining the two characters and how they might complement each other. Like the guy on the right in the picture, he's very outgoing.
Tayo, yeah.
Yeah, Tayo is almost like he's almost like entertainment before the joke kind of person. Whereas like the glasses character is more cerebral, the idea of like constructing and building a joke. And this first chapter basically culminates in them doing a comedy routine at the school festival, and they kill it. And their collaboration was that like because the glasses character is so shy, he has very few lines to deliver. He just has to like nail those lines. They're very simple. But he was also keeping track of like the comedy bit. He was also like signaling the outgoing guy who basically was just talking nonstop throughout the whole set.
Yep. Ad-libbing all the setup.
Yeah, he's basically was signaling him when to move on from a section, because they basically blocked it out where like first it's gonna be this joke, and then it's gonna be this joke, and then it's gonna be that joke, but like obviously they can't do it mechanically. It has to be organic. So it's almost like the Tayo, he's too organic, where he ignores our structure, and he just kind of goes on, could go out living for like forever, basically. So the manga did a pretty good job in very simple, easy to understand terms of describing like, hey, these two might need each other, and they're better with each other than separately.
They complement each other.
Yes. Is Glasses guy considered the straight man? Is that the
Yes.
Is that the idea?
He is the Tsukome. He is the one who is like interjecting. He's like, "What? What are you talking? No." Yes, he is the straight man. Tayo is the boke, or like the silly person who is doing silly stuff.
Silly boy.
Dar, I have a question for you for this manga.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's drawn really well. You know, Obata is very good with his art, expressions, and everything. How was it reading the jokes? Like when they put on like that routine at the school festival, the one about the teacher taking them to the national finals. Did you find it funny?
It definitely wasn't funny.
It was not funny.
No.
Okay.
It wasn't unfunny. It was just like I could kind of see how maybe this is funny if they're delivering it very well. Maybe if I was in that room, I'd find it funny. But just reading it, I was like, this is not that funny. I don't know how it reads in Japanese. But hold on. Okay. I fast forwarded through the chapter, and I went towards the end where they're basically they're kicking off the routine, and when they do the first kind of joke, where on the blackboard is written August 25th, is the day of the nationals, and then like the teacher is trying to make plans for that day. So the glasses guy says "Sensei," he screams out "Sensei," and then like everybody starts laughing, and they describe the wave of laughter that comes from that. I assume it's going to be a recurring thing they do, where this wave of laughter is almost like um the objective, it's like what they're trying to achieve. And it shows it kind of like washing over him. So yeah, it's pretty descriptive. I don't know how do you feel about the jokes, Tagazu? Tagazu? Tagazu, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. Technical difficulty, folks.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. What was the last thing you heard when you asked me the question about like, do I find it funny or whatever?
Well, I started talking. Did you hear me say anything?
No, I heard you the entire time.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. After I asked you, do you find it funny? I didn't hear anything you said.
Okay. So what I was saying was not really. I don't really find this series that funny. Even in Japanese too, as I've been reading it since like it started. I think it's okay. I think a good comparison to make for this, for like looking at like a comedy manga, is Dar, you and I love Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
And think about how stupid funny Chainsaw Man is.
Yes.
And just like, that's just so much more entertainingly hilarious than these like kind of crafted setup jokes. These are humorous. Like this, in this first chapter, this entire run with the sensei trying to get out of like going to the nationals, and you know, Azamichi, the stray man, is just being like, Sensei, what are you talking about? And interrupting him, and like over the top reactions. It's like, I don't know. Maybe the funniest one was when the teacher is trying to get out of everything and they like pull out a cigarette to smoke. Instead, they turn and they just like give it to the student, and then like you're like, how could you bring these cigarettes? How could you ruin your youth? Like, that's kind of funny, you know?
Yeah,
But
it is interesting to think about. This is a manga about comedy that isn't that funny, but it has other qualities that you like.
yeah, I mean, it's drawn well. There's some good drama when you get the backstory of Taiyo's, former partner, like what happened there, and the struggle of Azemichi as they want to put on like a good performance, and like he's worried about like being the one who like is like kind of like inferior to Taiyo. It's pretty like rote. You can kind of see like that's the progression of the story as well, you know? So I don't know, Dar. The written stuff is funny, but
I mean, I enjoyed this manga, but none of it was for the jokes.
yeah, isn't that a problem when like the entire concept of the manga is about comedians?
Maybe not. Maybe if when they start getting gigs and shows, they come across a comedian that like exposes himself to women and masturbates in front of women, and like they have an arc for like sexual harassment and stuff like that. Like it could be a drama about comedians, you know. I don't think that's what they're gonna do in this, but like just because it's comedy, it doesn't have to be funny.
Do you know what's funny, Dar? There's another manga about comedians called Bishari Gurashi. It's done by Masanori Morita, well known for doing things like Rokudenashi Blues and Rookies. I know Tyler knows of him. But his manga about comedians was more about dramatics, like you just described. Like a guy exposing himself and stuff like that. There's a little sexual assault like storyline. So that was like, it was about comedians. It was more about the drama about like being a comedian and what's that mean. And so in a series like that, it didn't matter that the jokes weren't as funny. It was more about like seeing this comedian succeed and see what happens from that. So I don't know.
I would say I'm rooting for these characters, which is not easy to make me root for characters, I guess you could say.
It's a good setup for a shonen like storyline where, you know, you're following young teens trying to succeed at something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, would you read more Showa Shoten?
I would.
All right. Let's move along. What shall we talk about next?
Okay. Time to pepper in a little bit of the 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 ones that I didn't think were very good.
Okay.
Graphic warning, I guess, because the introduction splash for this one has gore in it. So if you don't like seeing zombie stuff, the Dark Doctor Ikuru.
Ah, okay.
This is a story about, I guess it's like a different take on like a Black Jack kind of off the beaten path doctor, somebody who does good, but they're maybe sinister or selfish in some way. Um, but I just didn't think any of the setup hit at all.
Okay. Let me get some background about this. This manga, Japanese title Fuji no Yamai wa Fushi no Yamai. It's done by Hechi. Sorry, in 2022, so last year, running over on Shonen Jump Plus. The English edition is translated by Kojika, lettered by Yi Su Lee, edited by Hannah Niat, and yeah, Media Duo and YKS Services and Sky Japan. So yeah, the setup for this is there was a catastrophic event across the world that unleashed thousands of new diseases that are screwing with everybody, all the humans. And this first chapter, there's basically like a zombie disease that's happening. And the person who comes in to save the day is Ikuru. He's a man who wears a noose around his neck. And he is constantly trying to die. Because he has the disease of immortality. He cannot die. He actually uses his power to get infected by weird things like the zombie disease, which is immediately cured inside his blood. And then he uses that blood to cure everybody else. Dar, you didn't like this. I'm not surprised.
I didn't hate this. I just thought it was a little bit basic.
This first chapter is not great. It's not great.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's a bad start. Also, I thought like there was a lot of mixed messages here. Like for a second there, I thought it was like a pure comedy when it was like, this man is a stenatophile. He gets off on death, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of goofy. This man who's just like very horny for like dying, but that's not really what's going on. He wants to die so he could meet like I don't know if it was a mom or a sister or somebody he loved who are in the afterlife, and that's basically like his main goal. He wants to one day reach the afterlife so that he can be reunited. Um, so I feel like that that stuff didn't connect to each other. Um, it didn't say he got sexual gratification from like dying, but they would say he gets excited. Like, I'm so excited right now. There's a lot of pages about like, oh my god, this death, I'm excited. Which is just code for like I'm horny. I assume. I don't know. Like how are you gonna call somebody a thanatophile and talk about how death excites men, and that made me think that they just get off on death. It's just like it's like throwing a hand grenade in the middle of like a regular story, and I'm just like, reading past it, like, wait a second, there's a hand grenade sitting here. Like, this I feel like this is like the story could be purely about that. Like, about a guy who gets off on death. So
Yeah, and the first couple chapters too, they just follow him as he visits an area, runs into some humans doing terrible things, maybe because of a disease, maybe they're like taking advantage of people, and he saves the day, right? Using his ability. That series, I feel like it starts poorly, but about like, I think around chapter 5 or 6, they introduce a new character, like a companion for him to have. I just sent Darfox a link to, I hope I send it to chapter 7. Well, he basically gets, like, his first, like, companion is a nurse that looks like a monster. And the monster is very cute. It's like one of those, Morgana would love them, it's a monster that looks kind of hideous and scary, but they're really sweet. Because it's like a girl that turned into a monster and she wants to turn back into a human. Once Ikuru starts getting companions, it becomes way better. You see that monster? Look at that. It's adorbs. There's also a really funny gag where sometimes they have to take a week off, right? It's not a full chapter, and it's just like, here's like some bonus pages. Every time this happens, the creator Hichi, they keep bringing back this one delinquent punk character that looks really scary, but turns out he's a super nice guy. And they're always talking about how, like, yo, we can make these pages into t-shirts. And it's like the same, like, it's a copy and paste of the same, like, shot of this guy, but he's wearing a t-shirt. I just sent you the EX page, so you can pull it up on the stream. And it's just really dumb. Like, I just really enjoy it. So some of the extra effort that's put into, like, the side stuff has made me really enjoy this. Go to the next page and you'll see the delinquent punk. And, like, if you see the copy and paste of, like, the same image, it's the same panel almost exactly. He's wearing a shirt because in Jump Plus you have an ability to make a t-shirt out of any, like, manga page you look at. Yeah, look at that. Flip back and forth. And the monster girl is wearing, like, that same t-shirt from the page, and they're like, yo, this is so cool, man. It's just dumb fucking comedy. So yeah, I totally get your complaints and, like, your cons for this manga, but it's grown on me, man. I
okay.
do look forward to new chapters of the Dark Dr. Ikuru, so I did want you to take a look. I don't know if I convinced you of some of, like, the better aspects of this manga.
It's still on the ship pile for now, but we'll see.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, if you don't have anything else to say about the Dark Dr. Ikuru, we can move along.
Nope.
All right, what's next then?
I actually don't have anything pulled up. Let me see. Oh no, I did have something pulled up. And had Wild Strawberry.
Ooh, this is brand new.
Yep, brand spanking new.
All right, Wild Strawberry. This manga just started this month of July 2023. Our friend Whimsy Dearest was tweeting about this, saying they're really excited for this. This is a manga by Ide Yonemoto. English translation done by Nathan A. Collins, lettering by Brandon Bovia. Looks like this is Yonemoto's first series. And the setup here is plants have evolved to the place where they've overgrown human society. And now they're terrible monsters called Jinka. And then in this Tokyo overgrown by plants, you have the main character Kingo with his sister Kayano trying to survive. And the secret is Kayano has become a Jinka, one of the monsters, and Kingo's trying to protect her. And yeah, bad things happen at the end of the first chapter. A little bit of a hook to see what happens next with Kingo. But Dar, what did you think of Wild Strawberry?
This manga was pretty good, almost entirely off of the art and some of the design stuff. I didn't think it was bad, but I do see it being set up to be just a very typical battle manga. I don't know if that's the case, but the way they set up the Jinka, these monsters, basically humans get infected with them, and then eventually the flowers grow inside them and they bloom. And once they bloom, they basically turn into the monsters, right? And
Yeah.
they're kind of like rampaging monsters. But the sister's a little bit different because she hasn't bloomed, but she has like a bunch of flowers coming in and out of her.
She hasn't lost her humanity. Most of these Jinkas just become like human-eating monsters.
Yes, so it has that hook of like, okay, so like she has essentially superpowers, but she still is the same person for the most part. And at the end of the first chapter, it seems like she kind of made the guy a host.
Yes,
She went into him.
they got exposed. There's a squad coming to like burn her, and Kingo tries to like save her but gets shot. And so like yeah, she ends up subduing all the humans and then saves her brother Kingo. And then like on the last panel you see like there's a little bit of like a little plank coming out of his nose, knowing that she has basically entered him. Now they're together.
Right, which I don't know if that means that he's just gonna have the Jinka powers or if she's just gonna spawn out of him when it's time to fight. But it just seems like the government's gonna like be like, "Hey, the only way we let you live is if you help us fight." Turns out there's a whole
Against the
secret
other powers.
society of Super Jinka that are just like everywhere, and you need to help us fight them. That kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I can
Um,
totally see it going in that direction. There's only 2 chapters of this out, uh, because it's so new, and so far it seems like it could definitely go in that direction.
um. So I like the chapter that I read. I thought the art was really really good and really elaborate, very detailed.
That color 2-page spread you have up, you can tell it's like done with some CG stuff. I don't know if they're using like Unreal or something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the buildings is textured and all that stuff like Unreal, and then multiple passes with the foliage and stuff.
Yeah.
let me see if I can go back.
Like you mentioned, it's very visually impressive, though.
This is right before that 2 page spread where it's kind of the reveal that the sister is like one of these Jinka monsters.
Yeah.
But she looks something like the monsters just grow up to be like these, or like blowed up to be like these big monsters with vines and crazy stuff, big teeth and stuff. But
Hmm.
like, she doesn't really look anything like that. She basically just has like poison ivy powers, right?
Yeah.
But it also has a post-apocalyptic edge to it because Tokyo is so fucked that basically you have to scrounge for food and stuff like that. And people like the outbreak is so prevalent that just people are constantly turning into Jinka. So it's like Tokyo is basically like unlivable, even though a lot of people still live in Tokyo, but like it's just like it's so dangerous and it's so um overgrown and worn out.
Yeah, the setup reminds me of like I think they're pulling from COVID because they mentioned that like you see a Jinka blossom at a restaurant and they're like on the news they're like, oh, this man had no vaccination record. He was unvaxxed star. That's why he turned into a horrible monster.
Right. And they made a comment is like it's interesting how that's a storyline because in Tokyo it happens so often that it's never reported upon.
The rich people can afford the vaccinations, the poor can't. They're struggling to like live. They have to take the horrible jobs of burning out Jinka flowers. It's very dangerous. Dar, do you remember a manga I talked about called Fool Night?
Yes.
It's very similar in setup to this.
Yes.
And
I'm trying
that,
to remember. Like I read part of that chapter, but I don't remember if I finished it.
yeah, it was the setup of that manga was it's post-apocalyptic. The plants have like the sun has gone out, and so it's dark all the time, and they can't grow plants. So they came up with this new surgery to grow plants in humans, and the humans like are able to turn into plants and give off like oxygen for the rest of the people to survive. That story is much darker and more like messed up. It's a seinen series, and this Wild Strawberry kind of feels like a ripoff of this. So I don't know how I feel about Wild Strawberry. I mean, visually it's very impressive, like we mentioned, right? But considering it is running on Shonen Jump Plus, the what you threw out as a possible like setup for where this story goes, I feel like it's probably gonna fall into that. And that's just not as interesting as things that happen in Fool Night. And like I mentioned, Fool Night has been out for a while. That started in 2020. And Wild Strawberry just started this year, and it seems to be like really copying a lot of things from Fool Night. So I don't know. Obviously, you can have like similar themes in like manga, but when it's this similar, sometimes it makes you think. But Dar, you said you like this?
Yeah, I thought it was a quality book. I just don't know what they're going to do from here. I don't
Well,
know if it's going to be interesting in the long run.
I mean, I'll just have to tell you because I'll it just started. I'm still reading it now, so we'll see where it goes, I guess. Shall we move along?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we're not even halfway done.
No. And some of these are really interesting coming up.
I know. All right, what's
Okay.
next?
All right. All right. All right. Let's go for one that you're asking me to read for a long time and I hadn't read. Jiangxi X or Jiangxi X.
I don't know how to pronounce this because the Japanese pronunciation of like that Chinese vampire is Kyonshi, but I don't think that's correct. But yeah, Kyonshi X, Janshi X. It's a manga, a shonen battle manga about fighting those Chinese vampires. It's done by Norihiko Kurazono. It's just started this year.
Yeah, pretty fresh.
Pretty fresh. Started at the beginning of this year in January. Let me get the localization credits. Translation by Nathan A. Collins and lettering by Arabash Mughal. So Dar, I wanted you to read this because you've been watching a lot of Hong Kong movies, and some of them, when they're horror themed, they have the Chinese vampires. They are the villain.
There's a whole
Or, like-
franchise called Mr. Vampire. It's all about the vampires.
Yes. And you enjoy those. And
Yes.
I wanted your take on this shonen battle manga about Chinese vampires. What did you think?
I am positive on this. I have good feelings about this, but I must critically say that it is about the most straightforward rote, like shonen battle book setup since like Black Clover. Like Black Clover feels inspired compared to this. It's like it's like, okay, main character guy, he's really talented. Turns
He's
out
the son of a super, like,
he's the son of the vampire Hokage.
Yes.
and like he has a lot of expectations placed upon him. He has two like mates that he grew up with and trained with. One of them is kind of like the kind of geekier guy, good friend
with the glasses. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good friend, geekier, maybe not that strong. And then we have another friend who's kind of a whiner, probably really strong, but always angry about like not giving the same opportunities as the main character guy. Kind of getting set up as like a rival, maybe. They're presented with like the tuning exam to finally graduate to be like real deal vampires, and the vampires are the main villains, and they're already giving a ranking system because the vampires were created like 1,000 years ago, and the art of creating them is lost, but they are ranked depending on how powerful they are. So
yes. Number rank 1 is weakest. Can be taken out by 10 villagers.
Yeah, so like the main characters were training all these years fighting number 1s. Turns out this time you gotta fight in number 2. So they gotta fight in number 2 and it goes wrong. Immediately goes wrong. And then but turns out just like Kakashi, like testing like Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke, like the real test was to see whether or not how they react when it all goes to shit. How do they react? Do they leave their teammates behind? Do they just selfishly like fend for themselves? So that was a real test. It wasn't taking out a level 2 vampire. And then in the graduation ceremony, the Hokage of vampire hunters tells like kind of like the bitter rival, like the secret is that I actually am a bad father and I never trained my son. So
we're not related by blood.
Yeah, so he's just a main character Chan who does everything like way too hard. And he's basically spends his free time casting strength spell on himself like consistently. So it's like it really is just like all of the check boxes in the Shoten battle thing.
Yep.
I said I'm positive on it because like the art's quite good and the character pops. All the characters pop. They're very, very distinct. I also kind of like that it's similar to Black Clover. I like that it's not pretending to be something that it's not. Like maybe Wild Strawberry might be pretending to be something that it's not when it eventually becomes a battle manga, which I suspect it will. This is not hiding anything. It's not ashamed of anything. It is battlemanga.com. Sign up for it, So
yeah, it's with Wild Strawberry, it's a shame we didn't read this other manga called Skeleton X, because that had like a kind of interesting world setup, and eventually now it's turning into a battle manga like you think Wild Strawberry will. but we didn't end up reading that for this Darvox Dabbles. And maybe we should have, because Janshi X kind of mid. Like everything you said is so true. It is a true and through shonen battle manga that just happens to be about Chinese vampires. But it's hitting all the beats, like you said.
I think what saves it is the art is charismatic and it's not ashamed of it. It's just, it is what it is. And, like, do you want to read this? I'm sure the mangaka and I'm sure the magazine is holding out some hope that maybe this could be a really big series at some point. But regardless of,
I don't see it happening. I don't see it
happening either. But regardless of how popular it gets, it's fine and it provides adequate thrills.
It makes it sound so mean, but it's hard when there's so many. Shonen battle manga are a dime a dozen. And they really need to have super, in my opinion, either a concept that's super outstanding that makes it distinct, or the art style needs to be super good enough that it's distinct.
The art style for this one is almost there, and actually, I don't know if this one's drawn on paper at all. I doubt, but this one actually is one of the manga that doesn't have as much of that digital feel as the other ones. Although right here in the bottom right of the 2-page spread that I have on stream, the dragon and the pot with all the incense and stuff, that definitely seems like it's digital photography and it's maybe traced over, which is fine. The tools that mangaka use, right? And there's nothing wrong with using those tools. But overall, this one does have a little bit of a, I'm going to call it of a crisper feel to it than some of the other ones, which I'll consider a positive thing.
Oh my god, Dar.
Yes.
I've read something by this manga artist before. I did not know this. They were the one who adapted the Journey to the Center of the Earth manga. They're the one who did it.
Wait, refresh my memory.
Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth. I was like, I read a manga version of this.
I don't remember you talking about that.
Okay.
I believe it though.
Yeah, it was done by the same person. I should recognize because the nephew character, or the main shonen character, looks very similar to the main character here, kind of in the eyes.
He looks like Battle Boy that battles.
I mean, this could last a while. This could be canceled after a bit. Who knows? Right now it's up to 19 chapters. Hasn't been canceled yet. I kind of read it a little bit, but I don't know. It's starting to lose my attention because it's not really doing anything that different. It's just hitting all the beats.
I guess one distinct negative, besides just saying that it feels very rote, one distinct negative I'd say about it is that the world doesn't feel like a world yet. When in the beginning of Naruto, one of the things I really liked about Naruto was that it did feel like a world, and the idea of the ninja village and they would take jobs and stuff, and that's how the village made money, basically like a mercenary village, and all that stuff that you start to learn about the outside world of Naruto.
Yeah, the design of the Jonin, that ninja vest with the scrolls and where you usually would put magazines for your guns. Yeah, but they're scrolls instead. The design of the sandals and everything. That's all distinct, and Kishimoto did a good job with that.
Yeah, all that stuff was very intriguing to me when I was originally reading Naruto way back when, and watching the anime. This doesn't have any of that. It really just felt like the vampire stuff that was plopped in. They could have plopped any other interest. It could have been like Transformers, or it could have been who knows what, bears. It could have been a bear hunter shonen battle manga. Like this whole Chinese angle, the Chinese culture. There's a lot of it in like the costumes and the backgrounds, but I don't. So far, there's nothing in the actual story or world.
Yep. I feel like we've exhausted everything to say about Jiangxi X then.
Hunters of a Spooky Kind is a pretty good movie, starring and directed by Samuel Hun. Watch it if you haven't.
All right. All right, next, Star. We got to keep going.
Next, all right, let's do this. We do still have quite a bit left.
We just hit the halfway mark.
I might need a quick intermission. Okay. We've talked about this manga, so maybe we don't have to spend too much time on it.
Okay.
Give me a moment. Oops. Sorry, I'm opening up things I shouldn't be opening. I'll make sure they're closed during the stream. Oh my god, why are you taking so long to load? Thank you. Beat and Motion, directed by the famous Mr. Negative. By directed, I mean drawn.
Ah, yes, this is the manga made by the winner of Million Tag. That YouTube competition for manga artists that was done by Shueisha. The tag between a manga artist and their editor. Naoki Fujita was the winner, aka Mr. Negative. Because he was just so like, I don't want to work, I don't want to do anything. It was so funny. It took a long time, but this was also the manga that he won that competition with. They finally started. And this year, in 2023, the English translation is done by Andrea McKnight, lettering by Sneer Aharon. Yeah, this started in February, Dar, of this year, finally. Million Tag was 2021, I want to say?
Long time ago.
Yeah, so almost a whole year to prep and get this series up and running. The entire setup here is our main character. Oh man, I don't even remember his name. Tatsuhiko. When he was young, he wanted to become an animator, but then at school he got caught drawing somebody and they called it gross. So in high school he switched to playing instruments, but then like playing instruments was like bad. They were never successful. They were all like bad. He's bitching at a bar and runs into a girl that like is pissed at him, bitching on people and their dreams. And he's like, what a terrible person that is. But it convinces him to go back to animation. He makes an animation, puts it up on his Twitter. It buzzes, gets a bunch of hits. He actually gets contacted by this musician Nico that he loves, that he follows. It's like, let's do a collaboration, make an animation for my music. He's all super excited at the end of the chapter. Of course, it's revealed that drunk girl is Nico. And yeah, that's how chapter 1 ends. And now it's like this man who's trying to become an animator again is got to meet the girl of his dreams, but he already met the girl of his dreams and she kicked his ass and called him a loser.
And she was mean to me.
She was mean to me. She puked on me. Dar, what did you think of this manga Beat in Motion by Mr. Negative? This is getting a Netflix, by the way. That was part of the million tag deal,
I
remember?
know.
This is happening.
The word for this one is strained.
Strain?
Yeah, this one is like, I feel like they tied up Mr. Negative and they're like, write the manga, Mr. Negative. Put the emotional moment in it, Mr. Negative. Do the thing, Mr. Negative. I'm 100% coloring my opinion based on what we saw on Million Tag, which obviously isn't like a complete view of the person. That's just like an edited YouTube TV show that they put up, mostly for entertainment purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it really just seemed like this wouldn't be the stuff that he'd want to be drawing. There's a little bit of his like attitude in here, but like not a lot. This is mostly just kind of rote, feel good, try your best kind of stuff. Um, I don't have super negative feelings about it, but I think I can safely say I don't like it right now.
Yeah, it's. I've been reading it. It's up to 11 chapters right now. It's okay. I don't think it's very generic, which is good. It's not like the problem with Janshi X has, right? Where it just feels like it's hitting all the beats. It does feel like Mr. Negative is doing some things that are fairly interesting, at least visually, with like the art. But the emotional beats themselves and where you can see the story is going is kind of rote. You know? And so I don't know. I don't know, Dar. It almost feels like Shueisha made their choice with Mr. Negative, and now they made their bed, and now they have to lie in it. And so does Mr. Negative. He participated in that competition, he won, and now he has to like commit to this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like the strongest idea and setup, and I don't know.
The cynical. Maybe they should have gone for the prodigy girl, the one who won all the awards when she was younger.
Oh, the one who cried because she was struggling so much.
Yeah, I think she would have been the kind of creator they wanted. But that's just me saying random shit. I think the cynical part of us suspect that maybe because this is going to be a Netflix thing, there's more pressure to make it a more palatable thing for a Netflix audience. Because
yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. It feels super like, you know how like commercial mainstream movies have all the rough edges like
like
taken out, so they're like
created
easy
by committee kind of thing.
Yeah, easy consumption.
Yeah, that's the cynical part of us predicting that it's possible that totally possible that it's never entering the situation and he has full creative control of this, but it doesn't feel that way. This feels kind of like whatever.
Pushed by the committee. Like I think the problem is like the strongest character you have is Nico. But even her, she's not that strong or different or interesting. The most interesting thing we have here is when she gets drunk, she doesn't remember who the main character is. And she just kind of speaks her mind. That's really about it. I don't know. This manga is more fascinating because of like how it got made and how it came to be than the actual manga itself. And in that sense, I'm interested to see where it goes. I'm interested to see what the Netflix show will be if they actually still do that. But yeah, I mean, I still read it, Dar. I still read it. The main character is still trying to get into become an animator and running into some new characters, but I don't know. I just don't know with this. But we had to talk about this series. We spent too much time making our content around it.
Yeah, not no more.
Yeah. Let's move along.
A simple one, a lighthearted one. Here we go now. Kindergarten Wars.
Okay. So this is a manga by Yu Chiba. Started in 2022, so still very new. It just started getting put out in English in May of this year. The setup is there's a kindergarten called Noir. Exclusively caters to children of the global elite. And one of the new teachers, or one of the new kindergarten teachers, is Rita. She is an ex-assassin, one of the most powerful ones in the world. And it's her job to protect the children who are targeted by killers of the world. And she's hella fucking strong, but also she's totally looking for a boyfriend. And in this first chapter, there's a man who's targeting one of the kids of this kindergarten, and Rita protects the kid. But she stops from killing him when he reveals that he's a super hottie. And it starts asking him questions. When she asks, what do you do when the credits of the movie start rolling? And he's like, oh, I just leave. She immediately just kills him. Because she couldn't deal with that. Dar, what do you think about this kindergarten with a bunch of people with guns?
I found it humorous. I found it
Okay.
pretty cute. I thought I really liked Rita. Pretty goofy character, and you don't always get like the girl character like feeding for a boyfriend kind of character. It's just it's not like it's that unique, but it is fun. I was surprised she killed that guy in the beginning. I assumed he was gonna be like roped in to be like one of the main characters. Um, so that was surprising. That took me by surprise. But you know, besides that, I just thought that I like the art. I like her reactions and the way stuff is drawn. Um, I think like all the gun stuff, like this 2 page spread that we're looking at right here on stream, a bunch of like kindergarten teachers holding guns, reminds me a lot of the Yakuza family manga that I was reading back then.
Ah, yes. Mission Yozakura family.
Yeah, kind of reminds me. Like I was always surprised that they use so much like realistic looking guns. Like that's like those are like guns they are holding, you know. And so like kind of similar. Like weird to see all this gun in like ostensibly like a pretty silly story, but you know, whatever. Do principals of kindergartens usually wear maid outfits?
Yes, of course. No.
Yeah, I don't. What do you mean? The teachers are wearing aprons and stuff.
Why is the principal wearing a maid outfit? Probably because it looks cooler, more interesting. I don't know.
Does it though? Yeah.
Dar, can I be honest?
Yes.
I kind of don't like this manga.
What is you don't like about it?
Well, I think you can guess because it's a silly manga and Rita just immediately killed the handsome guy.
Uh-huh.
They're going to repeat that joke for a while.
Oh, okay.
She keeps doing something and running into a killer, and it turns out they're a hottie, and she's like, oh my god, they're hot. Oh, maybe they'll be my boyfriend. And then they say something stupid and she kills them, right? That joke gets a little old. It's not the worst thing. My personal problem with this manga is I think, and this is just my personal opinion, everybody, but I think Yu Chiba, their character design for male characters, they all look the fucking same.
I thought
They have the same face.
I thought this guy was the killer from the beginning. The guy at the very top of the page, holding the pistol.
Yes.
I thought he was a killer, but that's why
Every
I was surprised.
new male hottie character that shows up looks exactly the same.
Well, that's because she has the type, you know. Even his voice is like his type.
I don't know if it's meant to be on purpose because that's like the type joke, but I need it. It almost makes me feel like they can't draw anything except that type of face, because it. Like, if you flip through the first couple chapters, every time a hottie shows up, the only thing that's different from them is their hairstyle. And sometimes, like, I'm like, I can't tell these characters apart, besides the fact that they have different hairstyles. Like, everything else about their faces is the exact same.
Or trap.
But, like, if it's supposed to be because that's Rita's type, I could give it more of a pass. I never got that feeling. I just kind of got that, like, this person can't draw male characters unless they just look like this. Like, their version of the hot male character has only one variation. Like, there's only one face you can select when they're on your character create screen, Dar. Yeah, that's just my personal complaint. So I kind of this manga is not high up on my list of stuff over on Manga Plus.
Can't really argue everything you said.
The way they draw characters' eyes, like even like the principal character in the maid outfit you mentioned has the same type of eyes. They have like a little bit of an under eye, and I don't know. I don't know. I think it's done really well. I think everything is done super well. It's just, this is a miss for me. It doesn't resonate with me, the series.
Right. Well, I don't have anything else to say about it.
All right, let's move along. We still have a bunch more to do.
All right, give me a second.
The end is not in sight yet.
I'm bringing up this is interesting. I wanna know more. I got up marriage toxin.
I feel like this is a good follow-up to Kindergarten Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get into this. Marriage Toxin. This is a much longer running series, starting in 2022, but like at the beginning of last year. So it's been going for a while. It's drawn by Mizuki Yoda, written by Joe Makun. Let me get the localization credits. Oh, just localization by Media Bang. Great. So we don't even get people's names. Well, yeah, the setup here is also assassins and hitmen. The main character is Gito. He is from a clan of poison users. And you see him put out a hit and take out a Yakuza goon. And he gets asked by his sister, like, Are you ever gonna get married? And also, his friend, the bug user, is getting married too. And so, in the first chapter, he's about to poison this con woman who's been costing this criminal organization a bunch of money. But then, like, he's starting, as he's poisoning her, he starts thinking, is this girl into me? Does she have the hots for me? And at the same time, he gets a call from his sister, who's like, Grandma is really pressuring one of us to like get married and continue the bloodline of our poison user killers. So I am going to get married to a guy, even though I'm a lesbian, and break up with my girlfriend. And Gettle, at that moment, decides, this girl, this con woman, will you marry me? And then the con woman goes off and says, you suck. But they, Ghetto decides this con woman can help me find someone that I can get married to. You can help me with like finding like someone so I can be the one to continue the bloodline. I don't want my younger sister to have to break up with her girlfriend. And yeah, that's what happens. And the twist reveal is this con woman is not a woman, it's a guy.
Very last panel of the first chapter.
Yes.
It's like, what? So if you look at the stream and you have the image up, the title splash page that's in color, the pink haired woman in the back is not a woman, it's a man. I don't know what that means yet. I don't know if they're cross dressing or if it's like they're a transgender male.
So it is revealed that they are a male and they are beautiful and cute, and so they pretend to be a female to dupe people into marriage.
Okay, so it's basically part of their con work.
Yes. And so it's this weird combination between Gero, who is super powerful with his poison, and a hitman and a killer, and he's super capable, but he's a complete idiot amateur when it comes to like dating, and he desperately needs to get married so his sister doesn't have to like break up with her boyfriend. I mean her girlfriend. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple interesting things about this manga. First of all, like the fact that like the sister was a lesbian and they had a girlfriend, and it was like so casually dropped in the middle of the conversation. It is plot relevant because, as Dagazu explained, they need an heir to the Poison Clan. But the sister can't have an heir if she can have an heir if she's in a.
They need a blood heir.
Yeah, if they're in a gay relationship, but she could still have like semen donations, and she could have the baby herself.
I know, right? If you start thinking about it, it kind of breaks it down. But
like it makes sense in this
cutthroat world of
hierarchical, like an old style clan of assassins, and what does it look like in the modern world? The vestiges of these old traditions. It makes sense in that sense. And her basically, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but like she kind of felt a little guilty that her brother has to go around killing people because she doesn't do this stuff. At least they imply that she doesn't. So she's like, this is the way I can make myself useful. So she basically takes the hit, and she's gonna take the hit, and she's gonna break up with the woman she loves, to go just marry some guy, and do it. And the fact that was like the driving force for the brother to that's like the inciting incident in the plot, where the brother doesn't want the sister to have to like suffer this fate of enter like a loveless marriage to a gender she's not even attracted to. Um, I really like that, and of course, I was like shocked by like the. By the way, go read the fucking comments in the because Manga
Oh,
Plus have a
what?
comment
And
section.
on Manga Plus, you
Yeah,
read the comments?
yes, they're really funny. I'm sure there's like some very transphobic stuff in there, so maybe don't read the comics if you don't want to see hateful stuff in there. But mostly what I saw when I scrolled through it was just people really enjoying it and saying surprise and stuff like that, and like saying cry more bigots because I guess early in the comics there were like bigoted people just saying a lot of stuff like that. But it was mostly people just enjoying the swerve, which is really funny. And the other thing I like about it is that like it sets up further wrinkles because like if you read manga, you're like, okay, this con woman, she says she's not interested. He says he just wants her for her con skills so that she can help him find a mate. But they're really gonna actually fall in love and they're actually gonna have a baby themselves. Turns out they can't, cause cause the girl is a guy, so
Right.
they can't have a baby. Um, but are they gonna fall in love anyways? There's a lot of I will call it intrigue, a lot of gay intrigue in this manga. Um, that I was not expecting.
I'm
Um,
sorry I have to shoot those down because that does not end up happening in this manga.
yet
No, it's pretty much confirmed that they've introduced a bunch of female either clients that he has to protect or other female hitmen that he runs into. So, yeah. Too
they
many other potential like partners that are
they
not this
they extend the cast.
yeah,
Well, those are just
interlopers.
yeah. So my mom opened the door and she's like, "I'm hungry." I'm like, I'm podcasting." Um, yeah, those are just interlopers, really.
Yeah. I like
That's
this
what it
manga a
was.
lot. I appreciate the art by Mizuki Yoda. I like the character designs. It does end up falling into like a little bit of a battle between him and other like assassin clan users, and he has to like protect people or like fight people and use his poison powers. And it gets very shonen in that sense, but it always has this little bit of comedic value. And yeah, I this is like in comparison to Kindergarten Wars, I feel like this is more fun. I also really like the main character Geto, who is like he admits he's like, I just want to have a normal day. I just want to have a normal person that I can be like, how was your day? And talk about that before dinner or like have a chat before bed. Or when I cough, they're like, are you okay? I'm like, I want someone like that in my life.
He wants very basic companionship.
Yes.
Is what he romanticizes.
Even though he's such like a powerful poison, hitman who only kills bad people. He only kills scumbags.
What's funny is that the manga has really good comedic timing with like physical like people walking into things and stuff like that. At least in the first chapter was like a recurring joke.
Yes.
Um, so it's like this really cool character gets like easily distracted by like certain romantic stuff, and he just like walks into like a vending machine.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you like this manga. It's very popular, and I feel like it deserves its popularity.
Ugh, ugh.
All right, shall we move on? We can't keep your mom waiting too much longer. We only have 2 more manga to
Two
go.
more manga. Okay, I am gonna order it with of these two, the best for last. So I'm spoiling it.
Oh, okay.
all right, all right. We're cooking now. New series, the Game Devil, Game Bao. What's the series called?
Yeah, so the Japanese title is Ge Mao. You're taking game and Mao and kind of putting it together. So it should
Gamao.
be the game Demon Lord. Like Mao, Demon Lord, right?
Right.
But they call it the Game Devil. This is a series that started last year, 2022. It's done by Katsunoshin Futsuzawa. Let's see, does this have a localization team? It does. Just lettering by Chi Bui. Because translating editing is by Media Bang. So the setup here is we have our main character, Roku. He's a manga assistant. He's trying to make his own manga series. He drew a manga for his childhood friend that was crying all the time to cheer him up. He lives in a world where there's a super popular video game on phones called The Game Devil. And even when he puts in for to do his manuscripts with his editor who's trying to push him to do something else, he's like, this is just the copycat of the Game Devil character. But it turns out it's because, that character, his Black Knight that he uses, was taken from his childhood friend, Osamu, who went on to become this game developer and made this super popular game series, The Game Devil, and stole his character. And he can't let go of his original character. Roku's like, but it was my character. And at the end of the first chapter, there's a big announcement from Osamu, who's like, there's a really great update that's happening, and all of a sudden, the monsters from the Game Devil video game appear in the real world and start hitting people and turning them into digitized versions, and they become NPCs. So, video games bleeding into reality. And right when Roku is trying to protect a kid from a monster and he thinks he's going to die, from his phone emerges the Black Knight to protect him, saying it's time for your adventure, Roku. Darfox, what do you think of the Game Devil? I don't hear you.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
All right, I muted my mic I don't know why I muted my mic. I thought the thing that happened at the very end, if any lip readers are out there, you'll hear this twice. The thing that happened at the very end was kind of interesting and I guess unexpected. The stuff that happened before that, pretty much everything leading up before that, was really uninteresting. I think it's really weird to kind of apply the whole guts, I can't give up kind of mentality to a working artist in this sense, where he keeps drawing the same character over and over again. It almost sounds like a sketch comedy set where it's this manga artist drew this
Roku, you brought in
guy.
the same story about the Black Knight again.
No,
this is the 20th time.
It's not the same. Look, this time he has two swords, or it's it's a really silly concept because I don't know. It's obviously the person who drew this is a manga artist, and they're an artist, and they probably spend hundreds of hours drawing in their real life. But it's like a non-artist idea of what artists do, because artists they draw so much that to a certain extent these stories have to be expendable to them. You have to go, all right, on to the next one.
This was his Roku's original idea and inspired his friend. He can't let go of that.
He should have just sued his friend if it was that big a deal. Like,
You're right.
you
You're
stole
right.
my idea, like, and you're making all this money off of it. It's really, it doesn't make a lot of sense. At the end, when the fucking video games come through the TV and it started fucking turning everybody into pixels, that's like, this is fucking weird. Okay, is this like the apocalypse? Is this the pixel apocalypse? I kind of want to know. I kind of want to know what it's gonna look like moving forward. Because it doesn't really have a regular shonen battle set up, so it doesn't really feel like it's just gonna be another shonen battle book.
It's like it's sort of online, Dar, but it's real world.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Okay.
It's like being stuck in a video game, but the video game came into the real world.
Reverse isekai.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that. It's kind of neat to see so much pixel art in this manga.
That's the part. That's the part I wanted you to see. Yeah, where like they put like drawings through a pixel filter to make it look like it's like out of like a Super Nintendo game or whatever.
I'm gonna show the ends. Oh, I just scrubbed through all the stuff in the beginning where he's an assistant. And he's like, give me more buildings to draw, give me more backgrounds to draw. I just thought that stuff was really weird.
Mm-hmm. Would it surprise you that he runs into different party members? Maybe that girl at the train station that he met, she's like, "Oh, I play a paladin." She'll show up.
All right.
There's a Sasuke like rival character who's like, he's put in like hundreds and thousands of hours into this video game, so he's like super OP.
And now it's real life.
And he keeps calling Roku a noob. It's like, you're just a noob.
Wow.
Roku's like, what does that mean?
That's like the worst. That's like so this story is about like the no-lifer whale who just spends way too much money on a free-to-play game becoming too powerful in real life. I don't like that.
I mean, there are characters like that. The Sasuke is like that, I should say.
Right here, you see the contrast of like on screen. You see the main character hasn't been pixelized yet, but he's watching this crowd of people who were attacked by the monsters and they became pixelized. And she even starts talking, kind of like NPC.
Yeah.
So you're just seeing the juxtaposition of like a regular drawing. By the way, this is one of the manga that has like mega digital art look. It just, it's like, it just looks like digital art trademark. But like, just seeing like the regular people standing next to the pixelized people, it's kind of an interesting, visual. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It also makes me think of a certain music video of a certain band we both like.
Yep.
I kind of don't have anything else to say about this.
I thought this was going to be the one that you were like, this is the worst one. No. More than the what was it? The
Zombie Doctor Man?
Yeah, Zombie Doctor Man.
Dark Doctor Ikuru?
Yeah.
This would have been the worst if it didn't go like fucking crazy at the end.
Oh, so you like that?
Yeah, it's fucking something. Like, it's like, give me something in manga, please. Like this mopey kid who keeps trying this like edgelord character from his like school days is not good. But whatever.
Yeah, and it kind of plays out like what you would expect. He enters the game world, runs into different companions, has to do a battle. People are starting to see weird connections between him and the Game Devil guy, because the Game Devil guy comes out and actually at one point is like, Roku, this message is for you. And then eventually the other players are like, "Who's Roku?" And they realize, oh, Roku is this guy. It's been fairly entertaining so far reading this manga, so I've been keeping on it. Let's move along, Dar. One more manga, and then we can get your mom some food.
One more manga, one more manga. One more manga, one more manga. This one might be my favorite of the bunch.
I'm very glad to hear that.
And it's Shibatarian? Is that
Shibatarian, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very bizarre book, but it feels like it has a very strong creative idea, or not just idea, but like it feels like the author has a drive and they kind of want to take it somewhere.
Yeah, this manga just started this year in let me take a look. It started in April. This is another manga that Whimsy Dearest was very excited about. She actually made a YouTube video about this. And I think it's for good reason. But this is by Katsuya Iwamuro. This is their first manga that they've ever done. Yeah, another manga that's just a localization, just says localized by Media Bang. So it's always a bummer when I see that. Well, yeah, it's a bizarre series. So
What do you mean? It says a story for Shibata, by Shibata, about Shibata.
yes, it is. Shibata is the kid on the left. The kid on the right is Hajime Sato. So Hajime meets Shibata in 9th grade when he's buried neck deep under a cherry blossom tree. He was bullied. They become friends. Shibata has a huge collection of movies. They watch movies together. Hajime ends up... Shibata wants to make a movie with Hajime, and they end up talking. They rope in a girl that's kind of being like shunned in their class named Michika Watari. But as it's going on, like, it kind of seems that Shibata doesn't exist. The teacher doesn't recognize him. When Michika shows up to do filming, she doesn't see Shibata there. There's a whole thing where they want to show the movie, but they get, like, knocked off by the soccer team asshole captain. And at that point, Hajime, like, hates everybody. He's like, fuck those people at school. Let's make a story, a movie about a horde of Shibatas taking revenge. But Shibata is like, no, I like movies with happy ends. We can't do that. Cut to 5 years later, Dark Fox. Hajime is now 20. He's meeting with Michika, confirming that Michika never saw Shibata. But he actually, she says, I got a call from Shibata, said he wanted to meet you. He meets Shibata in front of a movie theater. They go to see a movie together. But when, after the movie, and Hajime is like, that movie was so good, Shibata was like, it was so lame, and I hate happy endings. Hajime is like, who are you? Shibata's just like, I'm me, of course. And then the most amazing ending to first chapter ever, where he's like, Shibata's like, I came up with a new movie for the idea you had when we were younger. Shibatarian. And they're sitting in the movie theater in the dark, and then on the next 2-page spread, you cut to see Everybody in the fucking theater has Shibata's face. And that's how this horror story begins. Hajime and a shit ton of Shibatas. Dar, you didn't know anything about this manga before you read it, right?
I had seen the "Who Are You" page,
Okay.
which I have on stream right now. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's very, because they're in a movie theater, so it's very darkly lit. But the way the shadowing is put across his face, Shibata's face, it has a very ominous kind of feel to it. And especially since he's asking like, "Wait, who are you?" And then he's like, "Well, I'm just me." It's just like a very non uh non-committal response, or not recognizing that, like, he has a completely different opinion of what he used to have, like 180.
Yep. The design of Shibata is genius because he looks like a cartoony face from like the 40s or something.
Yeah,
Like very traditional, like big eyes, big pupil.
almost like I was gonna say almost like a dollar sign. I don't know why I was gonna say that. Almost like the Monopoly guy or something like that. You
Yeah,
know,
something like that, like super tall eyes. But they're using it with the shading to make it look so ominous. And it works. It really, really works. Are you avoiding the 2-page spread with the all the Shibatas?
no, but I do think that this might be a great example of the strength of digital art coming up, because it seems clear that this was the same image that they were able to talk to her. So
Oh
this,
yeah, the use of copy and paste
yeah.
for to make it the exact same.
So this was when he starts talking about or this is when he names the movie Shibatarian,
Yep.
and then like the lights come up on the theater, and you can see kind of just like the stark contrast, the stark
It
contrast of all
it
the.
looks so good and so creepy. Shibatarian's so good. They're doing so many good ideas with like this concept of Hajime dealing with all these Shibatas. What does it mean? What's gonna happen?
I haven't
What
read
does
anything besides the first chapter, so I don't know if they actually marched at the school and start killing people. Yeah, I don't know.
you're gonna have to read more to find out.
It's a great drawing. A lot of attention to detail with all the people wearing different clothes. And I like
There's
how the
only 8
guy.
chapters of this out so far. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
How dare you? Um, I like how the guy's wearing like a Ghostbusters shirt, but it's like a Shiva, like
Yes,
no Shibata
yes,
shirt. That's
that's a great detail.
that's good.
If you go to the last page there, Dar, you can see even though like on that page you use so much copy and paste, there's actually like a slew of Shibatas that looks like it's hand drawn
Yeah,
on
like,
that
yeah,
final page where it
you have
looks
to draw
really
that.
good.
You have to draw the hand.
Yeah, that panel looks so good. And as it zooms out, you can see like the simple like eyes in the mouth, but they all look so creepy.
Damn, like whoever this newcomer is, give him a word just for this "Who are you" page.
I know, right?
Fucking mangaka work their whole careers and don't get a page that good.
Yep.
Yeah,
Did
Shibatarian, weird, kind of simple, but just very, very strong concept.
it's a really good build to that like reveal at the end of this first chapter too, because you don't assume anything at the beginning when like Hajime starts befriending Shibata. I mean, there's a couple weird things, right? Like he lives alone in a huge house that has countless rooms, and that's a little weird. or when, Michika ends up showing up for like the shoot, and Hajime's like, Shibata's, he's right here. He's standing right behind you. And she looks a little like scared.
Yeah.
But like, that's it. Everything else is very not there until you get to that scene in the movie theater at the end. Like, it just seems like something's a little strange. But yeah, by the time you get to that Who Are You page, it's like, oh shit. What is happening?
Is it something the main character created? Is it something the main character came across? Like you don't know.
You don't. But yeah, it reveals itself literally at the end of the first chapter, and let me tell you, 8 chapters of Shibatarian, they have not stopped. They are doing great stuff. I've been enjoying every chapter of this series. It's kind of wild how good this manga has become. All right, anything else to say about Shibatarian?
I want some more.
Gotta read more. Available on Manga Plus. All right, Dar, we did it. 10 things that we read. That you read. Took a long ass time. Whew. But we're finished.
Oh my god.
And you said Shibatarian your favorite?
Yes, I think so.
Very nice.
Seamus should read it. I think Seamus would find it interesting.
Yeah, it's like different enough, right? It's unique enough where it doesn't feel like, I guess we could say Jiangxi X was like the most, rote example of like a manga that we read, possibly. And then we just kind of scale up on various like different ideas that are being done and presented here.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Dark Doctor Ikuru was your least favorite?
I think so.
Okay. You probably put the Game Devil down there too.
Yeah.
Anything else that stood out besides Shibatarian that you really liked? Marriage Toxin, maybe?
Marriage Toxin. Hold on, I gotta look at the list. I gotta look at this list.
Shoten, maybe?
Yeah, it's Marriage Toxin and Shibatarian. Um, kind of up here, right below it, Shoha Shoten, and then there's the big middle pile,
Right.
and then in the bottom, it's Dark Doctor Ikuru. Really, a lot of good stuff. Even the ones that I didn't like that much, just good, solid stuff. There's a lot of manga out there. Big surprise,
Yes.
I know.
And I'm glad you got to see them and catch up, because these are the stuff that I'm reading weekly. And glad I got to talk about them with you, Dar. So thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you.
All right. We cannot keep Mama Darfox waiting any longer. We're going to end the podcast.
I think they figured it out. I smell the food, so I think they figured out how to reheat stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you to Darfox for joining me this week. We're going to end the podcast. Reminder, next week we're going to start a retrospective on Fire Punch by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Looking at the first 3 volumes of that, chapters 1 through 28. If you enjoyed Manga Machinations, subscribe to us, review us on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever else you find us. Make sure you donate and support us by buying us a coffee. ko-fi.com/mangamac. Check out our website, mangamachinations.com. Our Tumblr is mangamachinations.tumblr.com. Send us emails, mangamachinations@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter @mangamacpodcast. It's Manga MAC Podcast. That's also our threads and also our Instagram as well. Join our Discord server. Come play Mahjong with us. Come talk to us. Hang out with us on Thursday nights for whatever we do. Discord.me/mangamac. And you can follow my personal Twitter @DocZoo. Follow Darfox @Darfox8. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.